Hello and welcome to this video behind the scenes on the game design of the mini games of Welcome to Elk. I am Stålhandske and I am the programmer and game designer of Welcome to Elk and also co-founder of our studio. And Welcome to Elk, in short, is a narrative game based on true story, and it's sprinkled with these mini games, just a ton of them all throughout the game. And what I want to do today is just show you, go into depth on one of the mini games and show what our kind of design process is when working with these mini games. So before I show you anything, I just want to discuss what our game design goals are. So we have 4 design pillars for our mini games. The first one is playfulness. So we want our games to be playful. We want to give creative freedom to the player when they play it, so they can't. There isn't just one right way to approach a mini game, but you can kind of do it in your own way. Then we want no failures. So in general, in Welcome to Elk, there are no fail states. You're never told to redo something. You don't die and have to restart. So we want the same to be true for the mini games. Then we want only one button. So as much as possible, we try to use just one button for the mini games, in addition to movement with an analog stick or WSD. And then the last and probably the most important design pillar is that the minigame ties into the narrative somehow. And we're going to see that with the minigame we have here. So first I want to show an old prototype, so a video of an old prototype we made, and then afterwards show the new version, so how that kind of ended up looking inside the game. So first I'm just going to run the video for this old prototype. And let's see. So for this old prototype, we had the idea that it would be fun, because we wanted the games to tie into the narrative. It would be fun that there's some kind of permanence from what you do in the minigame. So we had the idea that you draw something. Like, we like the creative games, again, with the playfulness, so we wanted the player to like draw something, and then that thing that they drew would appear inside the game. Again, like tying into the playfulness aspect, it would be fun if it was kind of a surprise, so they didn't know exactly how these things would tie in. So we made a minigame where instead of us drawing the facial expressions for the main character, we think, hey, wouldn't it be fun if the player draws the facial expressions for the main character? So that's what we're showing in this prototype. Here you can see how, with the controller and just the A button, the player here is drawing like a surprise face for a character. And then what happens, so they draw a surprise face, then I'm just going to skip ahead in the video here. They draw a happy face, they draw let's see, what else they draw? A sad face, and then in the end, to test this prototype, we set up a scene where, like, a really simple thing. So what we do with our prototypes is we try to keep it as simple as possible. We just keep it to the core concept. So here you see the scene that plays out, and you can see over on the left side that the main character already has the happy face on, and this other character says, fuck, what? And they put on the surprise face. Oh, nothing. You scared the shit out of me. And this is the angry face. You were scared? I thought we were out of beer. A lot of our stories involve beer, so already, but we just started our trip, and this is the surprise face again. Woof! And here we take the happy face from the character and also put it on the dog, because we thought, hey, it's fun if we can like surprise the players and use the things that they create in a playful way and put them into some different aspect of the game where they wouldn't expect to see it. So that's what we did here. Okay, but a couple of things about this prototype weren't quite what we wanted. Like, it's a problem if the player like draws the actual face of the main character. Like, we can't. It would just become a really silly game if the player drew something really silly at the beginning of the game. And at the same time, like, drawing with a controller is actually not that fun. And like, this is the main input for the game, so we or keyboard, and like with both of those options, it's not really that fun to actually draw a face. So we went a bit of a different direction. So I'm just gonna fire up one of the mini games here from the game. It's called, well, we call it the Faces game, and you can see it's kind of the same concept. So we are creating faces in this game, but it's not now it's not the face of a main character. It's the face of Anas down here in the left corner. His parents are dead, and he wants Frigg to help him find them. So Frigg has to help him recreate these faces. So again, it's the same kind of movement as in the other game. I move around with the left stick, and I can now, instead of drawing, I'm picking up these what's it called? These photographs, like these cutouts from newspapers, and I can place them on the balloon. So this was actually Murray, the co-writer and art director on the game. His idea to do it this way, and this is a really clever way to also make faces, because you have a lot of creative freedom to make whatever face you want, even though it seems very limited compared to drawing. You actually can do a bunch of different stuff. Like, just making a face is actually fun. See, even with, so now I've put on 4 different, I put on 2 eyes and a nose, but imagine as a player you're like, no, I don't want to use eye, actually, let's use a mouth. And now this one is like winking, I guess. Okay, so when we're done, we can boop the seal of approval, and we keep going. And this is another thing we do to ensure that we only use one button, like just using the space of the game. So instead of having a button that's like, oh, click this button when you're done, you just actually move the hand down to the seal and use the context of the hand being above the seal to know, okay, we're done making this balloon, and the game continues. So as much as possible, we're trying to not use more than that one button. And the thing about fail states, again, like with the drawing game, we don't want you to be able to reset. It would be fun. So if you wanted to, if you need to reset in the drawing game, you'd have to like have an eraser and pick that up and you'd erase stuff. But here, actually, if you do something and you regret doing that thing, so let's say I want mouths for eyes, and I want also a mouth as mouth, and this nose, and I regret that, I'm like, okay, I don't actually want this nose, then I just plop it off, put on a different nose. So that's also something that's really important to us, that you don't end up in a state that you can't get back from, basically. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this face, and click the seal. And one of the things we did keep from the original prototype is this idea of permanence. Like, one of the 4 design pillars is we want the games to tie into the narrative. And of course this ties into the narrative because Anas lost his parents, and we're trying to find them, so we're getting more engaged into that story. But here we also see how Anas, he like actually takes these balloons that we design and put them up in his cave. So now, when we later come back to the cave, we can look at them and be like, oh yeah, those were the balloons that we made earlier in the game, and now I can actually go up and look at them again and be like, oh yeah, that was so fun when we made the balloons. So I can go up and I can be like, oh yeah, I made that thing and that thing. So that the game kind of feels like it ties everything together in the game, basically. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to show you today. As part of Ludonaricon, we have a demo up on Steam that you can download and play the game for yourself. So I highly recommend that you go try it out. But yeah, that's everything. Thanks for watching.